What is up, guys? We are back. It is the Week 10 college football preview and predictions. Saturday's games here. The first game, noon game. This is the big noon game on Saturday between the number one ranked 7-0 Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the 3-4 unranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Noon game here. I've already dropped the rant. I dropped it last week about why this game shouldn't be a big noon, but obviously that's for another day. Obviously this Penn State team, my one big preview for this game, like my one big bold thing in this game is Penn State cannot afford this game to get into a shootout. They cannot afford this game to be a shootout. They have to keep this a defensive game if they are going to win this game, and I just do not see that happening. Penn State has probably one of the worst defenses in the Big Ten this year. They do not have a good defense at all. I felt like last year's Penn State defense was way better than this one. Even preseason, I didn't think this Penn State defense would do much. I didn't think they were that good, and they really haven't been. They allowed 25 to Iowa, which granted that Iowa offense is good, and they allowed 22 to Northwestern, which is bad, and then they allowed 42 to UCLA. So, I mean, just not a good Penn State defense. I don't think this is a defensive game at all. Obviously, Aller's stats is up there, but they haven't updated it yet. It will be Grunkenmeyer getting the start since Drew Aller is injured for the rest of the season. Julian Sayin, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the country. 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,800 yards. Definitely a Heisman. I would say top 3 in my Heisman right now. Bo Jackson, 433 rushing yards on the year and 2 touchdowns. He is probably one of the best young running backs in college football right now. And then, of course, you got Jeremiah Smith. No words. Just an absolute demon of a receiver. I think he is bound to have a big day against this Penn State defense. The secondary of Penn State, really just weak in my opinion. I think Jeremiah Smith does have a big day. You have Caden Curry leading the team in sacks. 7 total sacks for Caden Curry. Definitely one of the best edge rushers in all of in the country. People just do not give him enough credit. Obviously, Arvell Reese leading the team in tackles. Arvell Reese is probably a top 10 pick in next year's draft if I had to guess. An absolute monster at linebacker. Campbell leading the Penn State defense in tackles. Fisher leading the team in sacks with 2. Devontae Loss leading the team in receiving yards with 255 and 3 touchdowns. And then Katron Allen with 612 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. I feel like the big thing in this game is, can Ohio State stop the run? Now, we've seen Ohio State struggle to stop the run in years past. I feel like this year this Ohio State defense has been better at stopping the run. Ohio State obviously coming off a 7-0 start. They beat Wisconsin, the ranked win over Illinois, and they win over Texas to start the year. Just this Ohio State team has been dominant. I do think it will continue during this game. But I do think it is a slow start for both offenses in this game. I think it takes a while for the Ohio State offense to kind of get going a little bit. And yeah, so my final score prediction in this game, I'm going to take Ohio State in this game. I'm going to take Ohio State 34-10. I'm going to take Ohio State 34-10. I think Ohio State does cover the spread. Just a very bad Penn State team compared to years past. I do think if Penn State was their normal selves, if Penn State was, like If Penn State was 6-1 right now, I would genuinely pick Penn State to win this game. I had Ohio State going 11-1 preseason, and their only loss, I expected them to lose to Penn State. And it's just not going to happen. Penn State, their only chance of winning this game is making this game a defensive game. I don't think they do. Final score prediction, 34-10 Ohio State. Next up, we have the noon ESPN game between 7-1, number 9 Vanderbilt, going on the road to Texas, taking on the 6-2, number 20 ranked Texas Longhorns. Anthony Hill at linebacker, but a beast for Texas. He leads the Texas team in tackles. Colin Simmons leading the team in sacks with 7 sacks. Ryan Wingo, 504 yards with 4 touchdowns. He's been a really good receiver for the Texas offense. Wisner, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not quite as good of a year from Wisner as I was expecting. And then we get to Arch Manning, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Arch Manning has had a good year. People say he's had a bad year just because his expectations were just way too high. The expectations for Arch Manning in preseason were way too high. But he's had a decent year. He's had an above-average year. I mean, he's a good quarterback. It's just going to take some time for him to develop. But that's just my opinion, obviously. Diego Pavia, 1,700 yards about, 15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Obviously tacking on another 5 touchdowns on the ground and make it 20 total touchdowns. Pavia, like I said, I don't feel he's all that, but he is still a good quarterback. Stowers leading the team in receiving yards for Vandy, 397 yards and 2 touchdowns. Capers leading the team in sacks for Vanderbilt defense, 4.5 sacks. And then Hurd leading the team in tackles with 43. I feel like Texas has obviously a real chance at winning this game. They are favored by 2.5. If Texas can make this, this is kind of the same thing between Penn State and Ohio State. If Texas can make this a defensive game, I believe Texas wins. If Vanderbilt gets going offensively, I believe Vandy wins this game. This game, in my opinion, is a coin flip game. But I am going to go with a safe bet. I am going to take Texas to win this game. I think it is kind of a defensive game. That Texas defense, obviously one of the best defenses in the country. They're just spectacular on defense. Obviously, they're really the one letdown game they had. I forget who it was, but I know they did have that one letdown game defensively. But other than that, they've been great this season. I'm going to take Texas in a defensive game. I'm going to take Texas 20-17 in this game. I think Texas wins 20-17. I just don't think Pavia in that offense gets enough done offensively to win this game. I believe the Texas defense shows out. Texas wins this game 20-17. Next up, we have the 6-1, number 10 ranked Miami Hurricanes going on the road, taking on the 5-3 SMU Mustangs. This is a decent SMU team, a solid SMU team. SMU, obviously, a disappointing year for them. Jennings leads the team in passing yards. Obviously, he would. 2,100 yards from him, 17 touchdowns, 80 interceptions. Kind of a letdown year from Jennings. Harden leading the SMU team in rushing, 456 yards, 5 touchdowns. Britson, 515 yards and 3 touchdowns. Webb leads the team in sacks, and Nacobia leads the team in tackles with 65. On the other side, you have Carson Beck, obviously 1,600 yards. Kind of a disappointing year from Carson Beck. I just really don't think Carson Beck is that great of a quarterback. He's really just not that good. Really don't think he'll get drafted that high. Probably we're going the 4th, 5th round next year. Fletcher Jr. from Miami leading the team in rushing with 552 yards. Malachi Toney leading the team in receiving yards with 562. Malachi Toney is an incredible receiver. Probably the best freshman receiver in college football this year. Messidor leads the team in sacks, and then Scott leads the team in tackles for the Miami defense. I believe Miami will win this game. I know in my record predictions last week I said SMU would probably upset them. Miami in this game. I'm going to take Miami in this game. I just think Miami offense is going to be too overwhelming for this SMU defense. I'm going to take Miami 38-24 in this game. I do think Miami gets it going offensively like they did against Stanford. I think SMU will put up a fight, but I think Miami pulls away at the end, and Miami wins this one 38-24. Next up, we have the 3:30. I believe it's a CBS game between the 8-0 Indiana Hoosiers, number 2 ranked, taking on the 4-3 Maryland Terrapins. Obviously, Maryland, one of the most improved teams that I've seen this year. Malik Washington leading the team as the quarterback. 11 touchdowns, 3 picks this year with 1,700 yards. Really impressive 2 freshman year from Malik Washington. Williams leads the team in rushing with 292 and 2 touchdowns. Knotts leads the Maryland team in receiving. And then on the defensive side of the ball from Maryland, Stewart, 5.5 sacks, and then Wingate, 65 total tackles for that Maryland defense. Moore leads the team in tackles for the Indiana defense with 55 tackles. Jones leads the team in sacks with 5. Elijah Surratt, in my opinion, top 10 receiver in college football, leads the team in receiving yards with 609 and 10 touchdowns. Hemby, 513 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then Mendoza, my Heisman favorite right now in college football. I think he's the best quarterback in college football with 24 touchdowns and 3 interceptions along with 1,900 yards. Really impressive year for Mendoza. Maryland, I do think they kind of put up a fight in this game. I think it is a close game for a little bit in the first half. But I have Indiana pulling away in this game. Just think Indiana's going to be too overwhelming for this Maryland team. In terms of talent-wise and just how good the Indiana coaching staff is. Give me Indiana in this game. I am predicting Indiana to win this game 38-17. I'm predicting a 38-17 Indiana victory in this game. Just think Indiana is too overwhelming. I think Indiana takes this one 38-17. Next up, we have the rivalry, the neutral site game between the 6-1, number 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs taking on the 3-4 ranked, unranked Florida Gators. Florida, 3-4, disappointing team this year. Just a disappointing year for Florida. I really thought preseason I had this Florida team going 11-1. I just thought this Florida team was really good. I had them going either 10-2 or 11-1. I really thought they were good. I really thought this team would make the playoffs, but obviously that has not been the case this year. Disappointing year for Florida. Lagway, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, 1,500 yards. Disappointing year for Lagway. Jaden Ball leads this Florida team in rushing with 611. Brown, the third, with 451 receiving yards, leads this Florida team in receiving yards. James leads this Florida defense in sacks with 2.5 sacks. And then the 40 tackles with Graham leads the team, this Florida defense, in total tackles. On the Georgia side, on the Georgia defense, Allen leads the team in sacks along with tackles. Zachariah Branch leads this Georgia team in receiving with 362 and 2 touchdowns. Bowens leads Georgia in rushing yards with 376 and 4 touchdowns. And then the quarterback, Gunnar Stockton for Georgia, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 1 pick. I believe Gunnar Stockton is probably a top 10 quarterback in college football. Definitely been impressive this year, taking over the reins. Formerly held by Carson Beck. Obviously, Stockton was the backup for Beck last year, and he's taken over after Beck transferred to Miami. And Stockton's been impressive. I believe Georgia wins this game. I really don't think it's close. I don't really think Florida has a puncher's chance in this game. I just think Georgia has too much talent in this game. I'm going to take Georgia. I'm going to say Georgia 28-10 in this game. Just like the Georgia defense overwhelms this Florida offense. And I think Georgia wins this game 28-10. Next up, we have the 6-2, number 18 ranked Oklahoma Sooners going on the road facing the 6-2 ranked number 14 Tennessee Volunteers. Obviously, both these teams 6-2. Tennessee, coming off the 23-score win versus Kentucky. Aguilar, 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I believe Aguilar might be the leading passer in college football. Could be mistaken, though. Bishop leading the team in rushing with 652. Chris Brazzell, one of the best receivers in college football, in my opinion, with 740 yards and 8 touchdowns. Bailey leads his Tennessee defense in sacks with 4.5, and Carter with 61 tackles. The Tennessee defense, not the same it was a couple of years ago, but still a great defense. Kip Lewis with 43 total tackles for that Oklahoma defense. And then Thomas on the D-line, 5.5 sacks, leads the team in sacks. Centenia, 624 receiving yards, leads the team in receiving. Blaylock leads the team in rushing with 401. And then Mater, the Oklahoma quarterback, 1,700 yards, 8 total touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I believe Oklahoma, if they can make this a defensive game, will win this one. I think this will be a very close game. I think it will be neck and neck the whole way through. I just trust that Oklahoma defense more than I trust that Tennessee offense. I'm going to take Oklahoma in this game. I'm going to take Oklahoma 24-21 in this game. Just trust Oklahoma defense more than the Tennessee offense. Give me Oklahoma 24-21 in the Saturday night primetime game. Next, and the final game I will be previewing and predicting for college football week 10, we have the 7-1, number 17 Cincinnati Bearcats going on the road, taking on the number 24 ranked Utah Utes at 6-2. Utah heavy favorites in this game, surprisingly. Dampier, 1,300 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. Parker leads this Utah team in receiving with 503 and 4 touchdowns. That's rushing yards. Parker leads the team in rushing yards. Davis leads the team in receiving yards with 518 and 3 touchdowns. Daly leads the team in sacks with 9.5. What a monster year he is putting together. And then Hall leads this Utah defensive tackles with 39. On the other side, the Cincinnati defense, Golday leads the team in sacks and tackles, 3.5 sacks and 67 tackles. Allen leads the Cincinnati team in receiving yards, 381 and 9 touchdowns. Evan Pryor leads the Cincinnati team in rushing yards, 478 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. And then you get to Brandon Sorsby, really playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. 1,800 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Obviously, a really really good year for Brandon Sorsby. Probably skyrocketing up draft boards. In my opinion, I do think this will be a close offensive shootout. I don't believe both defenses really have a major impact in this game. Obviously, this is the 10:15 p.m. late window game. I'm going to take Cincinnati in this one as the heavy underdogs. I believe they quiet down that crowd and win this game. In an offensive shootout, I'm going to take Cincinnati 45-38 in this one over the Utah Utes. Taking Cincinnati 48. or 45-38 over Utah. And that is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Really appreciate all you guys' support. It means a lot. Trying to grow this channel. Trying to grow it into something big. Eventually, one day, hopefully we get there. That'll do it for the Week 10 college football preview. If there is any games you guys would like me to preview, I'll make a separate video for that game. And what I think's going to happen, and, just the typical thing. Just one separate video. As you see, the drop down of the games. Yeah, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, peace out.